What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? It is a wonderful Thursday evening. Hope you're all doing well. We got some MVPs being handed out tonight. We got the Yankees maybe looking at a Hall of Fame catcher. We got them looking at maybe trading away a catcher that can't catch anything. We got Trevor Bauer giving some juicy comments. We got a lot of baseball news tonight, so buckle your seatbelts, grab your Dr. Pepper, or Diet Dr. Pepper if you're watching your figure. Let's get into it. And what is going on, everyone? How are we doing? We got 25 people in the chat. We got some baseball news tonight. How are we doing? Rocco Aviles is saying Lindor to the Yankees. Who knows? Maybe that could happen. Jackson, what's going on? Chicken Nugget Gang, I'm sorry for the loss of your turtle, my friend. I'm praying for your turtle. I'm hoping he's doing all right. Patrick, what's going on? Liliana Nora, how are we doing? Hernandez Andres, how are we doing? David Rio, welcome, BZ Baseball. How are we doing? Alrighty. Well, everyone, I hope we're all doing well today. But yeah, we got some juicy baseball stuff to talk about. I was pretty excited to get this stream started. And you know what? We might as well get right into it. So let's get this music off. Let's get started. Alrighty. So let's get to the first bit of news tonight. We might as well just start off with pretty much the most recent news. Oh, hello. Whoa, my volume is really loud there. Oh, we got a $2 super chat from Vehicle Ranks. The legend himself is here. Starting off the stream in a good way. Cohen active on Twitter. Vehicle Ranks, you got to be loving what Steve Cohen's doing. In yesterday's show, I talked a lot about Steve Cohen, and I think he's going to be a great owner for that team. He's active on Twitter. I mean, when Marcus Stroman announced on Twitter that he was going to be re-signing, Steve Cohen on Twitter reached out to him, which I thought was a pretty cool move. Me and my best friend, we were talking about Steve Cohen yesterday, and he was telling me he loves how he's just interacting with the fans and how he's interacting with the players. You know, he was saying more owners should do that. I mean, you know, for Steve Cohen to be kind of out there and just interacting with people, I just think that's a good thing to do. You know, I mean, hey, interact with your fans, interact with your players. Vehicle Ranks, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate that. Before I actually get started, if you are just coming in and you are new to this channel, you have no idea what the heck is going on here. So we're talking baseball news all the time here. So definitely think about subscribing down below. Everyone, if you can, hit that thumbs up for me. These live streams, I'm telling you, when you get more thumbs ups on these streams, they really get out there. YouTube loves live streams. So hit that thumbs up for me, or whatever the YouTubers like to say. Smash that thumbs up. God, I hate saying that. Yeah, just tap the little thumbs up button if you can. But let's go ahead and let's get right to it. MVPs. Jose Abreu, Freddie Freeman win the MVPs. Not too much surprise here. I think in the National League, I think you could have seen. Well, you know what? I actually think these are a lot closer than people thought. American League, I'd say it was a toss-up. Freddie Freeman, I think a lot of people were pulling for Freddie Freeman. As good as Mookie Betts was this year, I think Freeman ultimately was the most deserving. This guy was just an absolute monster this year at the plate. It was so hard to sit this guy down. Jose Abreu as well. These two were offensive machines this year. And Jose Abreu and Freddie Freeman both really stood out in good offenses. These two, take these two out of those lineups. Who knows if those lineups do as well as they did. So let's kind of get into why these two were the MVPs. So let me pull up some stats here. So let's kind of get into Freddie Freeman first. Here we go. Going to share my screen. So Freddie Freeman, taking a look. I mean, what a year for Freddie Freeman. Hitting 341 on the year at a 1.102 OPS. I mean, that's insane. I mean, 13 home runs, 53 RBIs. And this was including, he missed a little bit of time in the beginning of the season due to COVID. He had an insanely high fever before the season started. So for him to get back to the field the way he did, and then just produce the way he did, Freddie Freeman was absolutely insane this year. So if we just take a look here, I mean, a 462 on base, that's a crazy number right there. A 640 slugging. I mean, come on. This guy was all over the place when it came to just offensive production. But Freddie Freeman this year was actually... Oh, we got something going on. I'm hearing something. Alan the second has just subscribed. Alan, thank you so much. And I have to say, everyone, over the last couple of days, we've been getting a lot of growth on this channel. We've been getting around maybe 20 to 30 subscribers the last few days. So, hey, appreciate you guys joining the channel. And yeah, hope to see you all keep coming back. And hopefully we get some more people along the way. But Freddie Freeman, what a year for Freddie Freeman. This guy was just insane. But moving on to Jose Abreu. I mean, this guy as well had himself just a juggernaut of a season. I mean, 317 batting average, the 19 home runs over a 60-game season. That's nuts. I mean, he was on pace right there for probably around like 50 home runs, maybe like 50, 55. 60 RBIs, that led the major leagues. But we're actually going to I'm going to look at a couple more things here. But Jose Abreu, I mean, incredible. 987 OPS, 370 on base. That's solid. 617 slugging. That was solid. I did go with Jose Ramirez as my MVP. And just to kind of clarify why I went with Jose Ramirez on the Indians as my MVP. When I take a look at Jose Abreu, among first basemen in the major leagues, where I kind of was a little... held me back a little bit on Jose Abreu was the defense. Among all first basemen, he ranked 11th in defensive runs above average. Not great, but I think just overall what the writers thought, what the voters thought is his offensive production outweighed the defense a bit. I'm looking to see if he can improve on that defense a little bit. But if you take a look at Freddie Freeman as well, getting back to him, he ranked second. I mean, first basemen are naturally just going to have lower defensive runs above average just because first base isn't as much of a valuable position. So these guys are usually like the best guy, Anthony Rizzo. He's in the negatives with his defensive runs above average. But as you can see, Freddie Freeman was the second best first baseman defensively. But then the reason I kind of went with Jose Ramirez is, yes, Jose Ramirez was a little bit behind Jose Abreu when it came to offensive production, but Jose Ramirez to me was just very solid offensively as well. But he was one of the better third basemen in the league this year. I think third base is a tougher position. Me personally, I would have gone with Jose Ramirez, but I'm not gonna even doubt anyone picking Jose Abreu either. So for those of you wondering why I went with Jose Ramirez, I just thought the defense was a little better. I think just to me, at least, I thought Jose Ramirez was a bit more of a well-rounded player this year. But Jose Abreu, you can't take anything away he did at the plate. If we actually take a look at the at first baseman, actually, let's just take a look at everyone. Jose Abreu, this year, taking a look, I believe he was first overall in home runs. Could be wrong. No, it was Luke Voit. I apologize. Luke Voit. Luke Voit was also someone that you could have considered an MVP. But then Jose Abreu was right behind him. I think what I'm thinking is Jose Abreu led in RBIs. Yes, RBIs. So Jose Abreu this year, fantastic at the plate. I mean, take him out of that White Sox lineup. You're probably not going to see as good of a White Sox lineup. He completely changes a lineup. He's been solid in that lineup for years now for the White Sox. So well-deserved in my opinion. Freddie Freeman, well-deserved as well. So tell me what you guys think in the chat. Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Are you giving this a thumbs up, a thumbs down? Freddie Freeman, Jose Abreu, MVP? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Jackson agrees. Let's see those thumbs ups or thumbs downs. Zelig agrees. Any more thumbs up or thumbs down? Jerome says agree, and you can also write that as well. But yeah, I'd say, Cooper Nelson with the thumbs up. I definitely think we're all going to be on the same page. Joshua Lipchinski with the taco. You know what? I'm okay with that. It gives me the taco fall vibes. I know. Are we getting close to basketball season again? When is that starting back up? But yeah, Jackson, I agree. Freddie Freeman definitely deserved it in my opinion. But yeah. All right, well, let's move on. So with that out of the way, let's get into some more juicy stuff. So next bit of news, Trevor Bauer, okay with playing with Gerrit Cole or playing on the New York Mets. I mean, this is pretty juicy stuff. Trevor Bauer, by the way, if anyone watched Trevor Bauer's little Skype call after winning the Cy Young, if anyone noticed that press conference, look at the suit Trevor Bauer is wearing. First off, he looks like I don't know if he looks like he's running a funeral or a funeral home or whatever. Either way, he's pulling off that suit fantastically. I mean, he looks as sharp as can be. Trevor Bauer, I can't help but kind of, I don't know. I love the suit. I think it's fantastic. But let's kind of get into what exactly we're talking about here. So let me share my screen. So Trevor Bauer, for those of you that don't know, Trevor Bauer, when back in college, he played with Gerrit Cole on for UCLA, and these two did not like each other at UCLA. I guess there was this whole story of Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole was like the number one guy, and Trevor Bauer was number two. And I guess there was like this story where Gerrit Cole like called him out in front of like the whole team or something, and Trevor Bauer didn't like that very much. And so they just never got along playing at college. So ever since then, they have just seemed to not like each other. So a lot of people were thinking, hey, maybe because of that, Trevor Bauer would not play for the Yankees, or he wouldn't even consider it. But during that press conference, do you even call it a press conference, or the Skype call that he had, whatever, in that amazing suit? Just look at the suit. Are you kidding me? Look at this thing. This thing is incredible. But if we kind of go down here, he said a pretty interesting quote during this. And just to let you all know, all the Trevor Bauer rumors are pretty much going to dominate this offseason until he signs somewhere. Trevor Bauer, to me, is probably one of the more interesting free agents in years. I mean, minus Gerrit Cole last year. There's been a few guys in the past few years too, but Trevor Bauer to me is to me at least the most interesting free agent this year, because he could go anywhere. I mean, you don't know what he's going to do. This guy is one of the biggest trolls in all of baseball. So. But what he said yesterday was pretty interesting. He said, I have nothing wrong with Gerrit. We had our differences in college, and that was 9 or 10 years ago at this point. I'm a different person now than I was then. I'm sure the same is true for him. And let's be real here. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, they didn't get along in college. They hate each other. There's no way they're going to play with each other. Listen, it's been years. Come on. At this point, it's like you got to let it go. The ultimate goal when it comes to baseball in the major leagues is to win. I'm sorry, but if the Yankees go and get Trevor Bauer to be their number two behind Gerrit Cole, really, do you even call it a number two? You call it 1A, 1B. These two guys are both front of the rotation kind of guys. And if you put these two side by side, that is going to be a dominant 1-2 punch in the playoffs. That is nasty. And with that Yankees rotation, you got Gerrit Cole. If they get Trevor Bauer, you're going to have Gerrit Cole, Trevor Bauer, Luis Severino. He's going to come back. You got, if they bring back Tanaka, that's going to be pretty good. You got Davy Garcia there. There's a lot of, Jordan Montgomery was pretty solid this past year. That would be a really solid rotation if they bring in Trevor Bauer. And I think this kind of clears up a lot for a lot of people, because this has kind of been one sticking point with the Yankees is, Gerrit Cole and Trevor Bauer hate each other. So, he's definitely not going to sign now. But no, I think this is good that he said this. And I think this is just good for him, because it just makes him more marketable in the end. The fact that he's kind of being mature about it, I think that's only going to make teams just like him that much more. I think Trevor Bauer, he kind of gets this persona where, a lot of people think he's just very outspoken. People think he tends to be very negative about a lot of things. And, he's just like a different cat. But Trevor Bauer, I think this is a good thing for him to say. I mean, especially, Trevor Bauer, he can sit there and say he wants to get 1-year deals all he wants. Trevor Bauer is going to get a long-term deal. He's going to get a big contract. And, especially like a team like the Yankees who have money, I mean, I think this is the best thing for him to say. Financially, I think this is the best thing for him to say. I mean, but really, let's get real here. Trevor Bauer, Gerrit Cole, whatever beef you have, just squash it. Make a phone call, talk to each other, go have some lunch, go have some coffee. I don't know what the heck you guys like to eat, but go sit down and eat somewhere. I don't know. Freaking go have whatever, a nice juicy steak. I don't care what you guys go eat. Go squash the beef. Whatever it was in college, you sit down, you're adults, talk about it. Whatever you guys didn't like about each other, talk about it. It's not that hard. You're adults, you're men. The ultimate goal at the end of the day is to win. And, the Yankees, I think, would be silly to not even think about going after Trevor Bauer. I think you got to go after a guy like Trevor Bauer to go with Gerrit Cole. As it showed this past, these past playoffs, they were, again, one pitcher short. They came very close, but they just came up short. And if they had a Trevor Bauer in that series against the Rays, who knows how that series would have turned out? You could say probably that maybe could have gone the Yankees' way. The Rays' offense was not all that great. And, so if you had Trevor Bauer in one of those games, that's a Yankee series win. The Yankees go on to the ALCS, probably beat the Astros, go on to the World Series. Who knows what happens with the Dodgers? But if you got a Trevor Bauer, I mean, goodness gracious. I think Trevor Bauer, to me, I think the Yankees would be completely silly to not go after a Trevor Bauer. But again, this was good of him to say, squash the beef, whatever it is, who cares? It was 10 years ago in college. Just get over it. But another interesting thing he said in that Skype call over the talking about the Cy Young Award was he talked about the Mets as well. And I've predicted, oh, come on, ads. Come on, I don't want toothpaste. Get Peyton Manning, not right now. Do you mind? But Trevor Bauer also said something very interesting as well. Wow, these ads are really annoying. New York Post, you are killing me. Jeez. But the president of the Mets, Sandy Alderson, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He actually said, he made a comment saying Trevor Bauer would be a great personality in New York. He's the kind of guy that fans would endorse. We're in the entertainment business. And I've kind of said that too. I predicted Trevor Bauer to go to the Mets. I could see him going to the Yankees too. I could see him going to a few teams, but I could definitely see him going to the Mets. I think the Mets, they need some kind of energy. They need some kind of a like a lightning rod. They need some kind of a spark. And I think Trevor Bauer would be amazing in this city. In Queens, Trevor Bauer, I mean, that's just instant energy. I think the Mets fan base would get behind him completely. But Trevor Bauer made he responded to those comments saying, I heard Sandy's comments and it was refreshing to hear him speak that way about me. In the past, a lot of the narrative surrounding me is I couldn't handle a big market, a big media market. I was a head case or whatever the case is. That's kind of been the narrative. So to hear someone as high ranking as Sandy feels the way he feels about that is refreshing and good to hear him speak like that. I'm certainly very appreciative of that. So, I think Trevor Bauer, I mean, honestly, I think, for Alderson to say that about Trevor Bauer, I think, honestly, that's a great move. I mean, really, you know what you're getting with Trevor Bauer. You're going to get a guy that's going to say what he's going to say what's on his mind. He's going to say what he's thinking. He's going to go on social media. I mean, come on. I think he would be a perfect fit with the Mets. I think just he fits kind of what they are just kind of going for a little bit. They're looking for just a new culture. They're looking for a new attitude. But also, another thing too is Trevor Bauer is really big on analytics, and the Mets, it seems like they're going to start embracing more analytics. Steve Cohen was mentioning that he wants to he's a big believer in analytics and data, but he also thinks about, real life situations as well, personalities and whatnot too. But it seems like Steve Cohen, he really wants to embrace more of an analytical approach. And I think Trevor Bauer would be a great person to bring in. I think Trevor Bauer could actually be very helpful for the Mets, not just in a playing aspect, but from an analytical aspect as well. This is a guy that's been all about the analytics for how long now? And so Trevor Bauer can come in and maybe teach the Mets a thing or two. So I think this would be a great fit all the way around. Tell me what you think. I kind of want to see what you all think here. Do you think Trevor Bauer would more likely, after hearing both of these comments about the Yankees, about Gerrit Cole and about the Mets, where do you think, if you could pick between those two teams, where do you think he's going to go? Would you say the Yankees or would you say the Mets? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. I'd love to see what you all think. Let me come back to you here. So where do you think Trevor Bauer is more likely going to go between these two teams? No, we're not saying the Angels. We're not saying the White Sox. If you could pick the Mets or the Yankees, where do you think he's going to go? I'm seeing Mets, Yankees, Mets, Yankees. I'm seeing Yankees. I'm seeing Mets. I'm seeing another Mets. Mets. Drew Venny, what's going on? Gerald, how are we doing? Israel Soto, how are we doing? Jesse Burns, hello. Nexus Eagles, hello. BZ Baseball, what's going on? Hamish thinks the Mets. How you doing, my friend? Welcome. D Plays thinks the Mets. Hey, we'll have to wait and see. This is definitely juicy. I think these were very interesting comments. And, hey, we'll have to just wait and see how it goes. But before I move on, if you are just coming in, I'm seeing we're up to 43 people in the chat. If you are just coming in, you have no idea what the heck's going on here. We're talking baseball all the time here, so definitely think about subscribing down below if you are looking for more baseball content, more baseball news. We're talking off-season news all the time here. Hit that thumbs up for me if you can. I'm telling you, the more you hit that thumbs up, it sounds ridiculous, but the more you hit the thumbs up, the more YouTube is going to push it out there, and people will slowly start to trickle on in. But let's move on to the next set of news. Now, and speaking of the Yankees, we got some news about Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez, the man who can just go on absolute tears at the plate, but he can kind of tear everything down behind the plate. Gary Sanchez, the Yankees listening to offers for Gary Sanchez from what it looks like. So let me pull up where I was reading about that. Here we go. Let me share my screen. All right, here we go. So on MLB Trade Rumors, I believe Joel Sherman of the New York Post actually reported this first. But it looks like the Yankees are going to start listening in on offers for Gary Sanchez. I mean, this is kind of expected. I think a lot of people were assuming this. The Yankees really need to improve on defense. They really lacked on the defensive side of baseball last year. They weren't a very good defensive team, especially up the middle. They weren't very good. Besides Kyle Higashioka, I can't believe I just pronounced that name right. I think I pronounced it right. Did I pronounce that name right? But up the middle, when it came to catcher, shortstop, even center field, Aaron Hicks struggled a little bit defensively this year. You need to have good defense up the middle, and they really lacked with Gary Sanchez. They really lacked at short with Gleyber Torres, and like I said, Aaron Hicks struggled a little bit, but they really need to improve behind the plate. I mean, it's either you're gonna put Higashioka in and get good defense, but more likely than not, I mean, according to his track record, he's probably not going to give you much of a bat. He can give you a hit here and there, driving some runs here and there. But if you put Gary Sanchez in, he's also kind of a streaky hitter as well. When he goes on those streaks, he is just insane. He hits home runs, drives in runs all over the place. But Gary Sanchez is just very limited defensively. He has a bit of an arm. He can throw some guys out. But when it comes to framing, just blocking pitches, he's not very good. He just seems very just unnatural behind there. I mean, what do I know? I don't know. I was freaking terrible at baseball when I was growing up. I definitely wasn't a catcher by any means. But Gary Sanchez, definitely, I think, has been hindering the Yankees a bit. I think he's more of a DH, maybe go to first base. I don't know, but I don't think he is the right catcher for the Yankees. I think the Yankees need to get some kind a more all-around catcher. someone that plays great defense, but someone that can hit consistently as well. So it's not a surprise that the Yankees are listening in on Gary Sanchez. I'm not going to be surprised at all if they trade him away. Maybe they package him with a Miguel Andujar, maybe some prospects, Estevan Florial or something like that. I don't think they would get rid of like a Clark. I don't think they would get rid of Schmidt. But I think the Yankees could put together some kind of a package and maybe get a decent return. I could definitely see maybe Gary Sanchez going to somewhere, maybe like the Rangers, maybe the Brewers. The Brewers really need some offense, so maybe Gary Sanchez could help them out. I'm not really sure. But I'm definitely not going to be surprised if Gary Sanchez ends up being traded. What do you all think? Do you think the Yankees are going to trade Gary Sanchez? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you think in the chat. As I'm waiting to see your responses, let's take a look at the chat. Jesse Burns, I agree. I think Philly would be a great spot for Josh Hader. I think that would be an awesome spot. Hayden, man, Mike Piazza, he was fantastic. Still remember that home run he hit after 9/11. Awesome memory. Jackson is definitely agreeing that Gary Sanchez will be on the move. Anyone else with thoughts? What do you think? Could you see maybe Gary Sanchez, a Miguel Andujar, maybe an Estevan Florial, maybe another prospect as well? Maybe they could send a package for Josh Hader. Could the Yankees maybe go after a guy like Josh Hader? Personally, I think the Yankees need more of a righty power arm. Tabs. I could also see the Angels as well. I think that would be a pretty good fit, especially with Abreu on his way out soon. Maybe Gary Sanchez could be the DH, after Pujols is gone. I don't know. That's definitely a decent fit. But yeah. Alrighty. Well, so I'm seeing thumbs ups. So, but this actually gets us into our next bit of news. And with the Yankees wanting to get rid of Gary Sanchez, possibly, are they also interested in Molina, in Yadier Molina, and possibly a future Hall of Fame catcher? What a move this would be. One of the best catchers of all time going to a historic franchise in the New York Yankees. How crazy would this be? Yadier Molina being a New York Yankee, this would be insane. I think Yadier Molina would be an amazing fit. So John Heyman looks like he was the first one to kind of report this. Let me share my screen back with you all. It looked like John Heyman was the one that broke this earlier today. He said future Hall of Famer Yadier Molina has received calls with interest from both the Yankees and the Mets, who also need a catcher. Don't write off the possibility of maybe a Yadier Molina going to the Mets. That could be possible. They need a catcher as well. I predicted they're going to go after James McCann. I think they'll probably take a look at JT Realmuto, but I wonder if they're going to want to be spending a boatload of money, especially if they're trying to go after maybe a guy like Trevor Bauer as well. But definitely, you could maybe see definitely a 2-year deal for Yadier Molina. I think Yadier Molina could be a good stopgap kind of a catcher for the Yankees. They got Austin Wells, who might not end up being a catcher, but he is a catcher as of right now in their system. Who knows if he ends up staying as a catcher with the Yankees? But I think Yadier Molina could be a guy to kind of bridge the gap to a new catcher down the road. But I think Yadier Molina would be fantastic. He would be great for the pitching staff. He's always done well with pitching staffs. You got to think, maybe Yadier Molina, if the Yankees are really interested in Yadier Molina, you got to think maybe he would really think about that possibility. He'd be going to a team, definitely, at least in my opinion, in a better position to get to a World Series than the Cardinals. But really, can you realistically see Yadier Molina leaving the St. Louis Cardinals? That would be insane to me. I don't know if that's going to end up happening. I would lean towards maybe Yadier Molina staying, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you see Yadier Molina in pinstripes next year. I definitely think it could happen. I would maybe, if I were to put money down, if I were to make a bet right now, I would say he's going to stay in St. Louis. I'm just saying that based off of my own thinking. because I just think it's crazy to imagine, Yadier Molina not in a Cardinals uniform. But we have seen many players in the past where you didn't think they would end up in pinstripes. You saw Johnny Damon on the Red Sox end up in pinstripes. You saw Jacoby Ellsbury end up in pinstripes. No one saw that coming. I mean, who remembers that back in 2006 when Johnny Damon went to the Yankees? Who remembers that? That was awful. That was one of the worst. I couldn't believe that happened. So, sure, you could sit here and say Yadier Molina probably not going to go to the Yankees. He'll probably stay a Cardinal. But, hey, guys have ended up in different uniforms before that you didn't expect them to be in that uniform. So, I'm just saying. I mean, hey, Ducky Chan as well. Ichiro was in pinstripes. It could happen. I'm just saying, and the Yankees have a clear need at catcher. So, Alan Celtics, what's going on, man? How are we doing? Am I happy? Alex Cora? Yes, Alex Cora. I am thrilled he's back. I'm glad he kind of, reflected on everything that happened with him and with the cheating scandal. I'm glad he kind of took a year to kind of, get away from the game. And, but either way, I'm happy he's back. So, but yeah. Definitely do not count out the idea of Yadier Molina going to the Yankees. So let's see what you all think. Wow, we're up to 84 people in the chat right now. That is awesome to see. Real quick, in the chat, let me know, do you think Yadier Molina is going to end up a New York Yankee? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you think so. Give me a thumbs down if you don't think that's going to happen. I'd like to see what you guys think. I really, I think it's very interesting. Or maybe even a Met. Could he end up as a New York Met? Goodness gracious. In a way, I don't want all these guys to go to the Mets because Giraffe Neck Mark will not let anyone live it down. Giraffe Neck Mark will be screaming from the mountaintops every single day. Oh my goodness. Imagine Yadier Molina going to the Mets. I don't think Giraffe Neck Mark would ever stop talking. Joshua Lubchinsky says, let's go! Is Yadier Molina going to the Yankees? Guillermo Hernandez, I don't know what the heck that means, but all right. Okay, he thinks Yadier Molina is going to go to the Yankees. Jesse Burns, he's going to stay with the Cardinals. Hey, NYM, New York Mets, what's going on, man? I like the SpongeBob picture, my friend. Macias, no Mets, no. Yadi will never be a Cub. I don't think he'll ever go to the Cubs. I don't think he'll go to the Cubs. Send Sanchez to the moon. Do they have a baseball team on the moon? Jesus. Honestly, Gary Sanchez. He can hit balls to the moon, but Jesus, how many pass balls has that guy had in the last 3 years? But before I move on to the last bit of news for tonight, I'm seeing 88 people in the chat right now. If you are just coming in, definitely think about hitting that subscribe button. I'm talking baseball all the time here. We're talking baseball news this whole offseason. We're going to be doing a lot of streaming this offseason. So definitely think about hitting that subscribe button. Before I get to the last bit of news, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It's going to get more people in here. And like I've been saying, I said this from the beginning, more thumbs ups, more people in the chat. We're up to 90 people in the chat right now. So I appreciate all of you coming out tonight. We are coming to the end of this stream. So definitely go back to the beginning if you've missed the starting from when we started back about, what was it, like 30 minutes ago? Wow, has it really been that long already? But here we go. Moving on to our last bit of news. Nothing too crazy, but Mike Clevinger and the Padres working on a new deal possibly. So let's kind of get into the details on this. So as we all know, Mike Clevinger was traded to the Padres at the trade deadline. Everyone was going absolutely crazy. Everyone was picking the Padres to win the World Series. And then Mike Clevinger's arm fell off, and then the Padres got completely wrecked in the playoffs. So, but let's kind of touch up on this real quick. Let's come back. Here we go. Going to share the screen. All right, so Padres, Mike Clevinger working on a 2-year deal according to Fanside's Robert Murray. So the Padres are working toward a 2-year contract. A 2-year pact would buy out Clevinger's remaining 2 years of arbitration, creating cost certainty for the Friars and granting some extra financial security for the pitcher himself. This isn't like crazy news, but because he still has 2 years left of team control. So you're probably thinking, well, why are they going to do a 2-year deal? Well, I think there's a lot of benefits to doing this. He's still going to be, if the 2-year deal does get finalized, he's still going to become a free agent at the same amount, in the same amount of time than it would have been already. But I think this would be a good move for the Padres because, first off, you're going to be paying him more of a set salary because with arbitration, you got to kind of negotiate every single year. So if they were to agree on a 2-year deal, that eliminates the whole arbitration process. It makes everyone just feel better on both sides. If you can agree on a deal, then I think just both sides are just ultimately going to be happy. I think this is a good move on the Padres' end. If Mike Clevinger can just figure out a way to stay healthy, then I think he can end up maybe after this 2-year deal is over, if it does get done, maybe Mike Clevinger will consider signing long-term with the Padres, depending on how his health is doing at that time. Maybe the Padres don't even want him at that point. But I think ultimately, this is just going to make both sides happy. It's going to just get rid of the whole arbitration process. Clevinger is going to feel good. The Padres are going to feel good. So it's just going to be good. It's just good faith. And so Mike, doing this from the Padres end, if he is still valuable after these 2 years, if he's still healthy and whatnot, obviously Mike Clevinger has all the talent in the world. He just needs to stay healthy. But hey, if they can come up with a 2-year deal here, he's going to be happy, and maybe he'll consider signing a longer contract after that's over. I mean, a lot of people were thinking this with Mookie Betts. A lot of people we're kind of wondering, well, why can't the Red Sox, before the 2 years before his free agency was coming up, a lot of people, the Red Sox tried to sign him long-term. They tried to give him a long-term contract. I mean, this isn't very long-term, but, I don't think you can really give Clevinger a long-term contract based off of his health. I think this is smart from the Padres end. But that's sort of the similar thing the Red Sox are trying to do with Mookie. They were just trying to sign him longer to kind of buy out those arbitration years. And, as we all know what happened with that. But ultimately, I think this would be a good move for both sides here. Padres, Mike Clevinger coming together. Everyone's happy. So, but yeah, most likely, I would imagine this gets done. If it seems like they're working towards it, then hey, good on both sides. So, what do you all think about this? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you think this is a good move. Give me a thumbs down. Do you think the Padres are making a grave mistake here, bringing in Mike Clevinger, possibly, maybe even long term? Who knows what happens after this 2-year deal? So let me know in the chat. Do you think Mike Clevinger and the Padres coming together on a 2-year deal is a good move? Anthony Aglione with a thumbs up. Clevinger and the Padres are good for baseball, and who knows, maybe Trevor Bauer ends up becoming a Padre. I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah, Jackson, I see what you're saying, kind of thumbs up, thumbs down. You got to kind of wait and see how it goes. Jonathan Romero with the thumbs up, thank you. But everyone, that's all I got for news for tonight. I'll take a look at the chat real quick before I get on out of here. I know you all probably got stuff going on, so I'm not going to keep you here too long. But let's see. Joshua Lubchinsky thinks Trevor Hoffman should come out of retirement. I mean, hey, they need a closer. You might as well bring him back. What was the song he came out to? The For Whom the Bell Tolls, or For Whom the Bells Toll? Is that what it was? For Metallica? I missed that. Bring back Trevor Hoffman. I agree. But how are we doing, everyone? Let's see what you guys are saying. Jackson thinks Disney sucks. Yeah, they really messed up Star Wars. Oh, was it Hell's Bells? Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for that. What about the Braves? I think they're one really good piece away from a championship. I agree. I think they're close. If they end up having a good offseason, bring in a pitcher maybe, I think you could see the Braves next year. As I made a very early pick during one of my playoff streams, I had the Braves and the Yankees in the World Series next year. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. Yo Mama, Blue Jays. Maybe, are you saying Trevor Bauer to the Blue Jays, or who are you saying? I don't know. The Leopard, Robbie, what do you think the Tigers will do? I predicted George Springer is going to go to the Tigers. I could see them going after Taijuan Walker. There was also some news on that real quick. Let's see. Oh, there's some news on Chris Sale and Eduardo Rodriguez. Here, I'll bring you back to MLB. Man, they're just so good at pumping out the news, man. They make this easy for me. But here we go. Latest on Chris Sale, Eduardo Rodriguez. So here we go. While it would be nice for the Red Sox to get full years from both Sale and Rodriguez in 2021, that doesn't appear likely. Well, definitely Sale. He's not going to come back. I mean, the beginning of the season. He'll probably come back late season. So Eduardo Rodriguez, I can see Eduardo Rodriguez starting on time. I will be 100% ready for next season. Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm just saying, Red Sox World Series 2021. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to turn on my giraffe neck mark kind of bias right now. Let's go Red Sox 2021. We're going to be garbage again, aren't we? But let me see if I can find that news on Taijuan Walker. It was here. Oh, the Angels, they also got a new GM. Good move for the Angels here. Assigning a GM. So look out for the Angels this offseason. I think they're really motivated to have a good offseason. They got money. They want to win. These guys want to start making the playoffs. So the fact that they have a GM now, a guy that can, they got a guy in place to go after some free agents. So good move for the Angels here. I think he used to work under, I'm going blank on his name. He's with the Blue Jays. Alex, how do you say his last name? Alex Anthropoulos, is that how you say it? But I think he's worked with him before. But actually, where was that Taijuan Walker? I saw Taijuan Walker somewhere on here. Where is it? I think I'm getting close to it. Load more posts. Also, Trey Mancini, looking like he's probably going to be ready for next season. So that's great news for him. Coming off colon cancer. Here we go. So I actually predicted Taijuan Walker. I'm sorry, who was that in the chat that asked what I think the Tigers will do? I can't see where your comment is. I'm sorry. Where is your name? I can't find you. I'm sorry. But I predicted Taijuan Walker going to the Tigers, and I think this would be a good move for them. I think they would bring in a young guy. He really had a pretty decent season this year between with the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Or was it the Diamondbacks? Who was he with? I can't remember. But when he went to the Blue Jays, he did really good with them. But yeah, so that could definitely happen. I could see this happening. Tigers bringing in Taijuan Walker. I could definitely see that happening. But I'll read a couple more comments before I let you all get out of here. Oofy Payne was at baseball practice. Hope that went well, my friend. Padres will win the division 2021. That's going to be tough, man. That Dodgers team is so good. Good Dodgers team. Boy in Blue Guerrero, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hey, man, I know you're stoked about the Dodgers winning the championship this year. Hey, good for them. Hold up, can Keone Kela be a Yankee because we have money? Well, the problem is he's going to be healthy, Are they going to want to bring in a guy? I think a guy like that would be a great arm for that bullpen. If he's healthy and they bring him in, I think the Yankees need a power arm for the bullpen. Jackson Jeter Downs, Red Sox best prospect. I'm excited to see what Jeter Downs can do. Definitely curious to see how he ends up being. I think he could be a great, solid player. But yeah. But alrighty, everyone. I'm going to let you guys get out of here. That is all of the news that I have for tonight. Appreciate you all coming on tonight. We have 75 people in here right now. That's a fantastic turnout for tonight. Everyone, again, thank you so much for coming in. Before I get out of here, hit that thumbs up for me. If you haven't already and you're thinking about it, hit that subscribe button. We're talking baseball here all the time. But everyone, thank you so much for coming in, and have a good night. We'll talk to you next time.